Hello friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and in late September, I speculated that we would be getting a C3PO added to the game, and I sent out a survey and I said, what do you want C3PO to look like if and when he is added to the game? Now, I have my own speculations as to this, but when I polled the community, you guys came through and you were able to give me a lot of really interesting ideas as far as what tags he should have, what synergies he should have, what type of character he would look like, and even what the design of the character he should physically look like. Now, with that, I'm going to go over all of those things and your responses to that. Almost everyone said that C3PO should be a support character nigh unto Hermit Yoda. He should look just like Hermit Yoda. He shouldn't have an attack. He shouldn't have really anything besides supportive abilities, which makes total sense. But if you look at what he does in the films, if you look at what he does in the cartoons, the books, he really doesn't do active things, but he helps other people. And so it makes a total amount of sense that he be a support character. Now, everyone agreed support character except one person. There was one person that said C3PO should be a tank. For those of you who know me, for those of you who've been around this channel for long enough, you know that I got my start with Star Wars playing the Star Wars miniatures game from Wizards of the Coast. Now, there's a piece in that series that allows C3PO to draw fire and then kind of evade it at the same time. It's a really cool character. Maybe he's beneficial. Maybe he could be a tank. I could see that because, let's face it, how many of us, while watching the movie, have wanted to shoot C3PO? Have wanted to just take a blaster and like just pop him? We've all been there, right? C3PO is the most annoying character in the films, right? I mean, second or maybe a close proximity with Jar Jar, but C3PO is in like all of them, so I don't know. Plus, C3PO is in more, I don't know, more comics, more videos, more games. He's in more stuff, so I feel like C3PO, as far as annoying characters, kind of takes the cake here. Now, I could see that. No one, absolutely no one, thought he should be an attacker, which was interesting. But the C3PO that I'm talking about, the only one that could possibly be an attacker would be head of C3PO on a battle droid. Makes a lot of sense. It would actually be a lot of fun, I think, to see that, you know, battle droid C3PO with, you know, a gun rocking the house. I would enjoy that immensely. What most of you guys said, what most of you guys thought was that C3PO should look like the traditional C3PO that we know. He should have either a silver leg, maybe even the red arm, but really it should be the typical C3PO from the original trilogy, which makes a ton of sense, which is just obvious, right? Now, a close second to that was Ewok deity C3PO, which could be a lot of fun, you know, like C3PO in like a hovering chair, and that's like his ability. He just like kind of just sits there and all of a sudden he moves around. I think that would limit the C3POs that we get. But at the same time, I'm thinking we could see something from the original trilogy. Now, really the bulk of this is really what synergies is he going to have? What tags do you think he's have? Obviously, C3PO is going to be a droid. He should be a useful droid leader because really we don't have a solid droid leader. The best droid leader that we have in the game so far right now is Jedi Training Rate, which doesn't make a ton of sense. We should have a character like C3PO, like 3PO, like the golden one, that helps other droids. Now, and I'll talk about that more when it comes to his kit, when I break down his kit, but I really would like to see that. I'd love to see a 3PO with some great droid synergies. And he's a droid, so he's obviously going to have a droid tag. He should have a rebel tag. He should have a Galactic Republic tag. He should have a resistance tag. Really, that's kind of all. I mean, I can't think of anything else that... I mean, technically, 3PO was part of the Empire because the Empire had been created and Leia Organa was a senator in the Empire. So he could be Imperial, but no one's ever confused the Golden One with being Imperial. I mean, that's just not... It's just not what happens. No one ever makes that mistake. But he could also have a leadership ability, or he could also have some really strong connections with the Ewoks. Now, obviously, he's an Ewok leader. He's going to have really strong connections with everyone in the original trilogy. OG Han, Captain Han, Farm Boy Luke, CLS, Princess Leia, Rolo. All of those characters should have some kind of connection with C3PO. If we get really anything, that's really where it should focus around, because that's who was the most connected to the droid. It was those original cast of characters, and that makes sense. Now, this is the fun part. Now, a lot of you guys threw out some great names for abilities, but you really didn't specify what types of abilities you'd want to see. The one thing that most of you did say, who commented at all, you said that you don't want to see C3PO with an attack, but he's got to have a basic of some kind. So what I've done is I've taken a lot of those, I've taken some great liberties with this, and I've added my personal abilities, what I think he should have. Now, I did steal the names that were provided by you guys. I cannot take credit for that. I've got to give it all to you guys because, again, you gave me the names. I probably wouldn't have thought of half these without your help. Now, before I talk about his abilities, C3PO, while quite possibly, not even quite possibly, I said this earlier in the video, while C3PO is the most annoying character and the most frustrating character, and no one really likes him, I want to see C3PO to be godlike in this. Like, I want the first 3PO to be added to this game to be so amazingly powerful that everyone gets him. Now, if we're talking about the whole Grand Arena, like I've been speculating that they should open up a store for the Grand Arena rewards, make C3PO this godlike character who's in the store. Then you have to play the Grand Arena to unlock 3PO, this god character, and whales aren't going to get him faster. It would allow free-to-play players this really cool character that you could start off, you could unlock, right? Solid character, but in a free-to-play place. That would be freaking sweet. Probably won't happen. I don't know. It would be freaking cool. But just know that all of the abilities that I have listed are godlike. And they are going to make, like, CLS look like, I don't know, the Gamorrean Guard. I don't really know. Maybe Mob Enforcer. Although mad props to Mob Enforcer. She tries. Now, his basic is called Oh My. And it reads, if any character has more health or protection than C3PO, he grants the strongest character on his squad speed up, attack up, crit damage up for 1 turn. If this character is a member of the OT squad, he grants them 100% turn meter. I think that would be a really cool Zetaed ability, right? You take that 100% turn meter away, and then, you know, the highest that they can do is like speed up, attack up, crit damage up for 1 turn. Then maybe with like an Omega for 2 turns, and then with Zeta, it's 100% turn meter to OT people. He's got to be really slow because 3PO is ridiculously slow. And this would be something that wouldn't trigger very often. You could get it to trigger often. You could. But it wouldn't be something that off the bat would be just this really fast thing that happens a lot. right? Maybe you don't do 100% turn meter. Maybe it's 15% turn meter or 50% turn meter or 75 or something. But if you're going to make it a Zeta, make it a good one. First special ability, let the Wookiee win. C3PO grants all Wookiees on his squad defense up, tenacity up, and retribution for 1 turn. He grants Chewbacca 100% turn meter. Now, if you can imagine, this whole team, this whole kit is kind of built around all the Chewies and a C3PO. That was kind of what I was going for. But, I don't know, just the idea of retribution up, or retribution and tenacity up and defense up would be really cool. And the Wookiees are solid anyways, but granting them additional defense, which, I mean, it's not a huge thing, but it kind of helps, right? And tenacity up for sure is a very beneficial thing. Now, again, this would kind of have a really high turn meter or a high cooldown. And so maybe this is set at 4 or maybe this is set at 5, right? And so if he's slow, it's not going to trigger very often, but it could be really, really cool. Now, his leadership ability. You guys know one of my favorite squads, one of my favorite factions in this game is Ewoks. I love me some murder bears, and I think they are not given a ton of love. They're just not. They could be phenomenal. They should be phenomenal against like Imperial troopers, let's face it, because they slaughtered and then ate the Imperial troopers. I really think that we should see that. We don't see that in this game. This is the leadership ability that I have for C3PO that directly affects the Ewoks. No one else. C3PO grants all Ewoks plus 5% speed stacking each time they attack an enemy up to 50% speed, or up to plus 50% speed. Additionally, whenever an Ewok is healed, he gains a stack of healing over time and 2% protection. Now, that coupled with like with Chirpa, that coupled with Wicket, and just like everyone, the Ewoks are going to be incredibly, I mean, it's not overwhelmingly powerful, but if you think about that, the Ewoks are already pretty fast. Like they are. Like, I mean, they're really small, and small things just, you know, scurry around and they're faster. But they're already fast, and every time they attack, because they do attack often, what they could be doing is gaining protection up, health up, and gaining speed. So essentially, they go faster and faster. And like, that means they're going faster. That means they're going more often. They're hitting more often. They're using these group abilities more often. They're going to do a lot more damage. They're not going to do a ton of damage per attack, but because they're going to be attacking so much more, I'm just saying, something to that extent, I think, is if he has a leadership ability at all, should only pertain to the Ewoks, because they think he's their god. And what do gods do? I mean, they heal, I mean, minus like the death and plagues and other crap, but they heal and they grant people like faith and stuff. And so I'm just saying that it would be cool to make them faster, like, because they're strong, they have faith in themselves and their golden god, and they work together better. I don't know. That's just what I'm saying. They get healed, religious. I don't know. That's just here. That's my thoughts. Now, first unique, the chances of survival. Special? Nope. This is a unique. This is a Zeta-able ability, right? Increase the critical hit chance and critical damage of all OT rebel characters by 10% stacking, and all droids by 10% for the remainder of the battle. Now, that would make R2-D2 so much better. He's already great, so he doesn't need to be so much better. But it would make him phenomenal, because it would give him the 10% because he's a droid, and then 10% stacking because he's an OT rebel. Maybe it's stacking up to a certain point, maybe stacking up to 50%, maybe stacking up to 30% or 60%. I don't necessarily know, but critical damage and critical chance would be very beneficial. Finally, guys, this is actually where I think the benefit of C3PO would be. C3PO had this spy network of droids. It's only come up a couple of times in canon. It's mentioned very briefly in episode 8, I think. So many of you were upset by the movie that you might have missed that, which, not blaming you. But C3PO's got this spy network, and he had it while he was a rebel, while he was in the Resistance. I mean, so he's had it for a long time. And essentially what this would do, right? C3PO grants a random droid who doesn't already have it a new ability called Droid Spy. So this is some type of ability that we've seen before, right? Any droid with Droid Spy gets 10% evasion for the remainder of the battle. So the ability itself, gaining the ability, is not a huge thing. 10% evasion, not amazing, right? But Droid Spy, a droid with Droid Spy loses all protection, but gains 50% defense plus 5 speed per turn, stacking until plus 50 speed. When a droid with Droid Spy attacks a character with the Empire or First Order tag with their basic, they have a 75% chance to attack again for 50%, minus 50% damage. If the second attack lands, they have a 100% chance to attack again with minus 75% damage. Again, the abilities here would be you're attacking multiple times, but, you know, damage reduction. You're not attacking for as much. Maybe it's not 50%, 75. Those are pretty stark drops. I think that it could be very beneficial. The reason I took off protection, but the idea behind this was C3PO's droids were everywhere. They put themselves in harm's way to gather information. It's very possible, or it would just make sense for that ability to remove protection. Now, it needs to do something else. Now, speed up would be cool. Maybe it does an attacking ability. I don't necessarily know, but it should do something awesome. And maybe I take off that Empire and First Order attacks, but it just makes sense because the Empire and the First Order were the two groups that really C3PO used that spy network to kind of take down. And if he's going to do that, then that's really who should be that's really who this would, you know, work against. That does kind of limit his usefulness. And so in my mind, maybe this, I've said that he's a god here, that he's a godlike character. Maybe he's not, because what I've done is I've created a number of different abilities that don't necessarily mesh up, right? I've got an ability that focuses on the Ewoks. I've got an ability that focuses on the Wookiees. But with that basic, I really feel that it's going to do a lot of really powerful stuff. Now, maybe his basic is the only thing that's zated, and those other ones, maybe not so much. The chance of survival and definitely the Ewok thing would be really cool to zated. But also, I mean, there's a lot of other really cool zetas for the Ewoks. So maybe you don't want to throw a zeta on that leadership ability. But I think it would be cool. And I do think they should utilize something regarding the spy network, because he had a droid network of spies, right? And that would at least make the droids that we have in the game cohesive. It would make them connect better. I don't know. I just think it'd make it cool. What do you guys think? Leave a comment in the section below. Let me know. What abilities did I leave out? What abilities would you like to see? Let me know what you guys think. In the next couple of days, I'm actually going to be creating another survey for a Darth Malak. So look out for that. Keep an eye out for that. Let me know what you think. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and as always, my friends, stay nerdy.